Hi friends, now that the new super spreader UK strain of the COVID-19 virus has made its presence felt even in our country, the concern regarding vaccination has grown even further. It's important to get vaccinated. Who all should get vaccinated? Is it okay if I don't get vaccinated? Are there any long-term adverse effects for this COVID vaccine? A lot of questions are being raised by all sections of the society in a very concerned tone. So in this episode, we shall try to answer in a nutshell some of the important concerns regarding COVID-19 vaccination. Number one, who all should get vaccinated for COVID-19? The answer is that every person above 12 years of age at least should get vaccinated for COVID. I'm saying about 12 because most of the vaccines have been tried or they have been experimented in people about 12 years of age. But as the trials proceed, even children may have to be vaccinated with the COVID vaccine. Number two is that who are the priority groups which may receive the vaccine first? So those people who are likely to contract COVID will be the priority groups. So doctors and healthcare workers who are likely to interact with COVID positive people and most likely to get infected by COVID, they'll be the first group to be infected. Then the frontline healthcare workers, police personnel, and the public servants who are likely to interact with public on a large scale and are likely to get infected, they will also be part of the priority group. Then people above 50 years of age, especially those people who are suffering from lifestyle-induced disorders like uncontrolled diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, transplant recipients, those people on cancer chemotherapy, they are also the priority groups because they are likely to get affected by COVID and are likely to run into complications associated with the COVID. So these will be the priority groups who may receive vaccination in the first line. Youngsters, adolescents, people who are having robust health, they can wait for a bit more time before which they get vaccinated. Another very common question that is being asked is that suppose a person has been infected by COVID, he has recovered. Is it important for him to get vaccinated or can he avoid it? So most of the studies from worldwide have shown that the antibodies against COVID virus, they remain in the blood for a maximum of say 6 months after infection. So maybe after 6 months, the person is likely to get reinfected with COVID. So what does that mean? It is good that people who have been infected with COVID once also get vaccinated. But of course, they don't form an emergency priority category. They can afford to wait till the others get vaccinated because they can afford to wait for maybe up to 6 months. So they can wait for some time and after the others have got vaccinated, they can get vaccinated. Another very important question which is asked is, there have been those people who have received donor plasma as part of the treatment for COVID. Is it important for them to get vaccinated? So one thing is that the donor plasma is the plasma from the blood of those people who have recovered from COVID, which contains antibodies to the COVID. So if that is used to treat a person with fresh COVID infection, it is likely that if such a person is vaccinated, the immune response to the vaccine may be curtailed, may be reduced due to the presence of the antibodies which he has received as a result of the donor plasma. So they can also wait for some more time and maybe once they recover completely, for a few months they can wait and then they can think about getting vaccinated. Another very important question, especially which concerned parents are asking these days, is that there was a controversy around 3 decades back that certain vaccines predisposed children to autism. There was this very controversial study which was published in 1985 in the landmark research journal Lancet, that MMR vaccine, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, predisposes to autism. People who have taken MMR vaccine, children, they showed signs of autism. But remember that study, an extremely notorious study, I would say, It was published by Andrew Wakefield and co-workers in 1985. It was retracted after a period of 12 years. In 1998, the same journal Lancet published an article that Wakefield's findings that MMR is linked to autism is false. It is unscientific, it is unethical, and they retracted that research paper in toto. So as of now, there is no evidence linking any vaccine to autism, MMR vaccine or any other vaccine. So like that, there has been absolutely no evidence linking this COVID vaccines also to autism or any other childhood behavioral or neuropsychiatric disorders as of now, the evidence which we have at present. So lot of different kinds of vaccines are being mentioned, which is the best vaccine for our part of the world. So some of the early vaccines which were developed in United States of America by Pfizer and Moderna, they had certain inherent problems in the sense that they had to be kept at a very low, extremely low temperature to maintain their efficacy. For example, the Pfizer vaccine have to be kept at minus 70 degrees Celsius temperature, and Moderna vaccine has to be kept at minus 20 degrees Celsius temperature, which is extremely difficult in a country like India. So that is where some of the other vaccines, the newer vaccines, become important. One of the most important vaccines which the government has now approved is the Covishield vaccine, which is developed by Oxford and AstraZeneca, and it is manufactured in India by Serum Institute of India. It can be considered as a poor man's vaccine because it can be maintained at a temperature of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. So it can be well preserved even in countries like India. So coming to Covishield vaccine, this vaccine is a non-replicating viral vector vaccine, and the Serum Institute of India version of this vaccine, it uses chimpanzee adenovirus as the vector for developing the vaccine. So this vaccine, it is administered as 2 doses. The first dose will be on day 1, 0.5 milligram, 0.5 ml as intramuscular injection. Then after a period of 4 weeks, on the 29th day, the second dose or the second shot of the vaccine, again 0.5 ml will have to be given. So does taking just first dose of vaccine offer protection? The answer is no. Just taking the first dose will give you partial protection, maybe around 60%. But if you take the second dose of vaccine also, after 4 weeks, 70 to 90% protection may be available. So for all practical purposes, at least 70% protection is offered by the virus if you take both doses in the required stipulated time. So another thing is that many people are asking, is it okay once you take the vaccine, the next day onwards, you can run around, roam around freely without mask, party, things like that? Is that so? Absolutely not, because once this vaccine is taken, it will take some time for the antibodies to develop in your body. So after the second dose of vaccine is taken, you have to wait for another 10 days till you become protected, in the sense that you develop at least 70% protection. So again, even after that 10 days, you cannot roam around without mask and party, because you have to wait patiently till the majority of the population either takes the vaccine or develops COVID and gets a natural immunity to it. And that phenomena is known as herd immunity. So till the herd immunity is developed, we have to continue to wear mask, maintain social distancing, and maintain personal hygiene. If these things are done, if majority number of people get vaccinated, that does not become a problem. So again, there are other strains of vaccine also. The Covaxin, which is produced by the Bharat Biotech, it's also under various stages of development. There are various other vaccines also. So what are the common adverse effects which you can expect once you get vaccinated? The usual adverse effects which you take when you get any vaccine, for example, maybe a local injection reaction or induration, something which is very rare. Maybe some fever or flu-like symptoms, that also very rare. So till now, nothing catastrophic has been reported with regards to the adverse effect of the vaccine. Will the vaccine produce any long-term adverse effects? It's a very important question. we have to wait and watch, because only the vaccine has been here for only a few months, and the evidence which we are talking right now is based on the information we have got from the limited evidence which is available for the last few months. So whether after taking the vaccine after 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, whether some long-term adverse effects can happen or not, only time can tell. But as of now, with the newer variety coming up, it is important to get vaccinated. So there has been this question also, will the vaccine be effective against the mutant strain of the virus? It is likely to be effective against the mutant strain of the virus also, because the vaccines act against or generate antibody against the spike protein of the virus. So luckily, even with the UK mutant strain, the spike protein of the virus hasn't undergone much of a transformation. So the vaccine which develops an antibody against the spike protein of the previous COVID-19 virus is likely to be effective against the new mutant strain also. So we have limited options as of now. The only option is to get vaccinated with whichever safe vaccine is available right now. So our country is also starting the registration process. To get registered, we have to use some photo identity card like Voter's ID card or PAN card or Aadhaar card or any identity card which is issued by government institutions. Using that card, you can register into the site, and the same card will have to be produced when you go to take the vaccination also. So let's all get vaccinated, try to protect ourselves and our society from the COVID pandemic, and let's join hands to move out of this problem, to help ourselves out of this problem. All the best. Thank you very much.